dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say, I am here.
I cannot believe what I just watched. As press secretary, you can't know every conceivable issue in the world. A niche issue happening in Moldova, let's say, some niche foreign policy issue. Yes, you can say, I'll get back to you. I haven't looked into that. This happened at 1:51 p.m. on Sunday, the attack. She gave her, late afternoon. She gave her briefing yesterday at 1:51 p.m., meaning she had almost 24 hours to learn of this attack. It was on NBC, it was on ABC, it was on CNN, it was on Axios, it was on Fox. This was a huge story. So to be unaware of this story is extraordinary. And then to say, is the White House tracking this? No, we have not been. I hope she just spoke out of turn and the White House was truly tracking this, because it is a very scary idea that there could be a major attack in Atlanta and the White House was just woefully unaware. Merrick Garland, he just had a press conference. I hope he addressed this, because these individuals cross state lines, bringing this into federal jurisdiction. There were people from France, from Canada. The White House should be all over this. And if the press secretary's not, I hope her bosses are.
But they're logged off, Martha. That's the whole point. Was it Sunday? Was it there's something not pressing on their agenda? The bottom line is this administration is logged off figuratively and literally. And to Kaylee's point, this is an international, apparently, attraction, which is a war on police officers there. The mayor has yet to weigh in the strong manner needed that those cops deserve. And it would be incumbent upon this administration, I believe, to articulate something to quell the fomentation. To actually, to that question's point, let's tampen down this escalation. If we leave this unalone, if we do not address this from that top down, it will only get worse. And someone, I fear, a law enforcement officer, will lose their life.
Yeah, you know what? As you rightly point out, they are very concerned about domestic terrorism. It's something they talk about quite a bit. But apparently only certain pockets of domestic terrorism are of great concern. There's really no excuse. I mean, we all sometimes miss something here or there, but this was a huge story. And as Kaylee points out, it was covered on all of the networks. And this is a huge issue of domestic terrorism. This is a perfect opportunity for the White House to come out and say, look, we have funded training for police. We want to see police forces regain their strength so that they can keep neighborhoods safe. And this is, there's a big difference between the kind of thing that you see on this video on the right-hand side of your screen, which are people pulling masks over their face. I'm not sure why they're masking these protesters, right? I mean, what why do they not want their identity to be known? If they're simply protesting something to protect this forest or to be against the training facility for police officers, which is so important to rebuild their morale and to rebuild their cohesiveness and to attract people to the force. But I'm not sure why they want to cover their faces. But now we see their faces all over there. 23 people charged with domestic terrorism.
And that's such a great point that you bring up, not only funding, but the part about the hidden identity. So, Kevin, we have the Southern Poverty Law Center attorney who says, I was there as a, quote, legal observer, whatever that means. Because if you are in the vicinity of something where domestic terrorism is being charged with and the violent attacks we saw, did he have a mask on? There he is right there. Was he standing to the side with a clipboard? I highly doubt that. And keep in mind that the Southern Poverty Law Center, to the funding point, has funded massive amounts of policy, including being quoted by and depended upon by this administration as somehow orchestrating sound policy rather than a far left, woke, idealistic mob.
Well, listen, everyone on the couch here believes in peaceful protest. This was not a peaceful protest. This was a armed domestic terrorist event that we saw play out in Atlanta. Atlanta has lost hundreds of police officers in the last couple of years because of this neglect in that city to support law enforcement. President Biden has spoken so passionately about this. He says, police officers, when they put on that badge, should have every right and expectation to come home safely at the end of the day. He has increased funding for law enforcement to recruit more officers year over year. But that's not enough. We need to see more on the ground from this administration when it comes to supporting law enforcement. To Kaylee's point, that this just can't be, brushed aside at the White House podium. What is it about that sort of island of misfits, this kaleidoscope of socialism that we're seeing here, of violent activists that are coming from other places and thinking that they know better, destroying someone else's city in the name of those residents?
They call themselves the Defend the Atlanta Forest Group. I don't think they're defending a forest. I think we all know what they're up to, and it was violent. And I find it interesting that this Southern Southern Poverty Law Center employee was there. Think about those two names, the Defend the Atlanta Forest Group and the Southern Poverty Law Center. Oh, don't those sound lovely? They're taking care of people. They're protecting the innocent. They're protecting things. No, the Southern Poverty Law Center is a far left extreme money-making machine that has had a host of their own problems.